cinematic is supposed to look better, but ooh, I don't know about that. So this is mostly a response to somebody who wrote to me after watching some of my videos, and in specific, she is, I won't say your name just to keep, protect your privacy, but she's been meeting with the oncologist, and she's considering having her ovaries out for various reasons, and the oncologist said, oh, insurance won't pay for it. And anyway, she's wanting to know what my experience is, what I think of it. I mean, yeah, I can really only say my experience, obviously, and there's a lot I don't know, but there's a little that I do know, and I think our situations are also individual and unique. But in fact, I'll say what I think and how it's been for me, but also I was on Facebook. I'm in a bunch of the Facebook groups that I don't really check very often, but every once in a while I do. And I'm in one of the surgical menopause groups because that's the type of menopause that I had. And it just is so nice sometimes to be able to hear from people who have gone through the same thing as you, right? Because, it's not surprising, but people don't understand what you've gone through if you've gone through something, breast cancer, or even more specific, if you want to get into triple negative, or having your ovaries out, going through natural menopause. I mean, they're similar, of course, but there are some differences. So anyway, one of the people in one of the groups said that she didn't have any of these same kinds of side effects, which I find absolutely miraculous. I don't know how that's even possible, but one of your questions was, what about the depression? So depression, anxiety, hair loss, aging, dryness vaginally, weight gain, particularly like in the belly. What are some of the other fun things? Just like fatigue and like loss of energy. So I guess when you're menopausal, there's testosterone or some type of androgen or something like that that's produced in the ovaries, so that when you remove your ovaries, there's also this this crash effect of testosterone as well. So I've experienced all of that. I would say, I don't even know which one's worse, to be honest. Oh, and then just like loss of libido. So I didn't even mention that. I just said dryness vaginally. And so, I mean, my hair has gotten a lot thinner. Definitely I've been aged by just the process. I think it's a combination of things, but for sure when I got my ovaries out, I could see a marked difference in looking much more aged than I did before. So I'd say that, that's a concern for most women, I'd say. Nobody wants to, ow! She's such a brat, this cat. Oh, she came from the back of a barn. She was a tiny baby. She's in my early videos, but man, she's just half feral, I guess. Or maybe she's completely feral. Maybe that's why she's such a sassafras. But she's so cute. Anyway, so one of the big ones is that it's so hard to describe, but I mean, I guess we all can relate to what it feels like to have a sex drive. So, what it feels to feel aroused, what it feels to feel turned on. It's a particular feeling. And when you've had that feeling your whole life, and then it's taken from you, and it's sudden, and it's, it's abrupt. It's not like over time. I don't know what it's like to go through natural menopause. I mean, I hear that libido decreases like that, but it is very weird, to say the least. It is very uncomfortable. See, for me also, I haven't had a partner for a while, and I hadn't wanted a partner, so I wasn't really even sure, like, okay, is sex going to be possible? Am I going to enjoy it? Am I going to be turned on, aroused? Like, how's that going to go? And I figured, okay, maybe one day I'll have to deal with that. And actually, I am seeing somebody now, and it's new, but I feel very turned on by him and very excited by him and very happy about him. And so it's really been great to just feel in my body like, okay, am I feeling the same kinds of feelings of arousal? And I would say it's a fraction of it. And it's just, it's a different feeling. I don't feel this like this big like tsunami wave of like, excitement and turn on, like, oh, just that like hunger that comes, that is gone. That is gone. I'd say, I don't know. I mean, I'd say if say 100% was just like a fully operating libido, great sex drive. I would say that like I crashed down to zero, actually zero. And I would say that now probably, I don't know, it might be like 25% or something like that. But not only is it decreased, but it just feels different. So I just can't stress enough for me how incredibly shocking that piece was. Like, I think when I was having my ovaries out, there was some like sideways mention, like, oh yeah, some women sex drive decreases a little bit, like some decreases a little bit. Like, that's kind of, that's not telling the full story. But like I said, there was somebody on Facebook and that person said they didn't have any effects. I don't really know how that's even possible. So also, depending on why you're getting your ovaries out or, what your health history is, I've had an estrogen dominant breast cancer. So a lot of women, they get a hysterectomy and they can take some bioidentical hormone therapy of different types that there are. It is supremely recommended against for women who've had an estrogen dominant breast cancer, which makes sense to have any estrogen in their body. So when I've gotten the Dutch test, which is one of those like naturopathic doctor tests that some women get when they're trying to monitor themselves to prevent a breast cancer recurrence, it just shows that like, I think there's 3 different types of estrogen, and there's estradiol, luteinizing hormone, and then what's the other one? The FSH, whatever hormone that is. But I think there's also a couple other like estrogens. Anyway, it's complicated in a way that I don't understand. But when my naturopathic doctor explained it to me, like you mostly want those low, but then there's one that maybe you need to have a little bit of. And I honestly, I don't really know. I don't know about that. I've only had one Dutch test and I'm due for another one. But so I take this compounded testosterone, which does seem to help a little bit. I kind of go off and on with it. And I've talked about that a bunch of times too. But I'm very curious, like, could I have a little bit of estrogen and some compounded cream? So the next time that I see my naturopathic doctor, I'm going to ask her about that. But anyway, I know I'm going on a tangent, but what I really want to say is that I cannot stress how much it affected just my libido and also my desire for life, my hunger for life. I think that the testosterone cream really helps. And it kind of all goes together, like the anxiety, the depression, the fatigue, the all of that it's all kind of related, and sometimes it's hard to separate out which one is which. But I haven't taken an SSRI this whole time. I mean, boy, the doctors are ready to hand that out like candy. And I definitely could, they told me I had PTSD, so there's absolutely, I am a perfect candidate for taking it. And I have just really tried to do what I can on my own. I know I rely heavily on caffeine in a way that is probably not good for me. But it's my one vice, I've said before. And hopefully one day I won't have to be so dependent on it, but I know that it's part of what gives me just like that boost of energy. I did start working out recently. I'm super excited about going back to the gym. I hope that helps. I think that it will, just to sort of like, get everything moving again. That's part of what I feel is I just feel this like heaviness and the weight gain too. For me, I mean, I gained 10 pounds that just will not come off. except when I had the flu and I was vomiting and having diarrhea and absolutely sick. Then the 10 pounds came off. But so, and it's like in my belly, you know, so I don't know. I think most women don't appreciate belly fat. You know, maybe you could have fat other places, but for me, and I think for other women, you get that hormone belly they talk about. So, and there's things you can do, like really cutting out sugar, I think is a really big one for decreasing some of that weight gain. So yeah, I don't know if that helps. I mean, I personally, like, I have an appointment coming up because I do want to talk to him again and be like, okay, why did we do this? Because I've suffered like immensely in a way that after going through so much hardship with cancer, like all you really want is to just like be free after that. Like, oh, let me just be free in life again. Let me feel like my old self, something. But I have no breasts. I went through cancer and now I have all of the like associated downsides of having my ovaries out. So I'm, you know, it sucks. I haven't really accepted it totally. You know, it's a process and I am coming to that, but I'm not there. I'm still mad about it. So, but what I would do differently is I would definitely experiment with just having one out. If I needed to get them out, if they were telling me I should, or if I wanted to, in your case, when you were the person asking me my opinion and my experience, why not do one? You can always do another one later. And I mean, yeah, you have to go under anesthesia and like that, but you know, I think it's huge. Even going through natural menopause, there's still some circulating estrogen. There's still benefits. And I think removing body parts unnecessarily is complicated. I mean, that's why I haven't had my spleen taken out either. I'm dealing with immune thrombocytopenia, which came from the, you know, just through my whole cancer process. So, and if I take my spleen out, I have 2/3 chance of it correcting the problem. But then I also don't have a spleen. And then I'm subject to like infection and stuff like that. And I just am adverse to taking anything out of my body unnecessarily. So I don't know if that helps at all. If you're not in a hurry, like I had an acute problem. I was basically like bleeding out. And so they nearly rushed me in to have a procedure very shortly after that happened. So I didn't have a lot of time to think about it or do research, but take your time, think about it. You can't put your ovaries back in. And if you have the option to do some of this like hormone therapy afterward, you know, find out what the downsides are of that. Find out if that's something recommended, if that's something that you want, if that's a possibility for you. So I would say definitely do your research for sure, because yeah, it's really difficult. And I just don't think that the doctors necessarily tell you everything. I mean, I don't think they can tell you everything because, you know, that would just be too much. That'd be a 6-hour appointment. But just have your questions ready as best you can, and don't make a rash decision. You know, take your time and make a decision, because you just have to really think about like why you're getting them out and what kind of recourse you might have, because it is a final decision. So I hope that helps. Thank you so much for checking in and being in touch. And I hope it goes well, and we could email it about it some more. But yeah, thank you and take good care.